Hey, Aaron here with Lower Lawns, and weird day today. I've got to do maintenance on my hedge trimmer right here. Still got to clear off the trailer from yesterday's work, and this morning I sent out a bunch of Every Door Direct flyers. So it's a very abnormal morning because I'm used to mowing, but now we're getting to a point where it's October and it's time to start doing landscaping again more regularly, right? So I'm gonna do this hedge trimmer here. I'm gonna do spark plug, fuel filter, air filter, clean the blades, and get it ready to go do this large hedge trimming and pine straw job, and I want to see what I can film today. All right, air filter. Oh, look at that. Crazy. Not the greatest at my maintenance, if that's not obvious. But it makes sense why I'm having such a hard time starting it. Spark plug. Okay. Not too shabby. My cheap Chinese spark plug. Let's see if it'll work. Now for the hard part. Oh, well that just broke. Okay, it didn't break. It just popped out. Allen wrench. Allen wrench fishes it out. There's your fuel filters. Boom, maintained. Now we sharpen the blades and we put it to work. Alright, so here we are driving to our first and only job of the day. It is late. I'm way behind compared to what I wanted to be this morning, but it's okay. This one's not super time sensitive or anything. I'm kind of, it's a weird situation where it should have been done in like the spring, but they wanted to wait, so why is my hat like that? Anyway, they wanted to wait, so we did, and it's I don't know, it's a weird one. It's very overgrown right now, so it's going to take me longer than I would like anyway. I really like to keep people on a maintenance sort of schedule where I'm not having to spend a lot of extra time, but I don't know, it's a weird season. Like it feels like people are way stretched for cash. more so than usual, you know. I've done probably 20, 25 quotes, and I've only gotten like 9 people. And my usual price, like 65 and up, is it feels like everyone. I don't know. It feels a lot tougher this year than the last like 3 years. It's not a bad thing. We're not in like trouble or anything. It's just, it kind of sucks, you know, because doing quotes and stuff takes a lot of time. But we're getting a lot of new builds around here, like communities of 40, 50 houses going up in 2 or 3 months. There's a lot of people moving in our area. And, yeah, a lot of quotes, a lot of opportunity, but man, you got to be cheap to get on those, right? But anyway, I've got something like 45-ish bales of pine straw with me. I went this morning, dropped off 1,200 EDDM flyers, and Monday or Tuesday I'll do another 1,200 or so. I'm trying to get more of a consistent marketing rotation, like you know, just more of a presence going on near home, because we moved 2 or 3 years ago, and I was complacent and comfortable, and now we're 4 years in almost, and I'm tired of driving 20 and 30 minutes to some of these yards that take 2 hours to mow. So we're trying to make some changes there and really build up a presence closer to home. And I'm just gonna, for the next 6, 7, 8 months, yes, even during the winter, I'm going to be just hammering everything next to where I live as much as I can. You know, yard signs, EDDM, all that kind of stuff, just to try and, you know, get that the elusive route density, right? You know, it's kind of a cliche at this point, but it is what it is. Like, it works and it helps and it makes things a lot nicer. I just, like I say, I got comfortable with my people. Like, you know, I've worked for most of these people for almost 9 years now. You know, next year, 2025, starts my 9th year, and most of these people have been with me 100% of that time. So I try to be very loyal, but at the same time, God, dude, like, it sucks to drive so far. Did EDDM this morning. I went and bought 100 bales of pine straw, and then reorganized the trailer to come do this job. Took the bagger off the new mower. I got a new mower a few weeks ago. It's a Skag V-Ride. It's pretty sweet, man. It's pretty nice. Our lawns have been kind of dry lately, so I'm sort of 50-50-ish on how great it is, because it's not cutting the dry stuff like I would like. Things that the old deer, the 60-inch deer, still cut perfectly, it kind of struggles on, like especially the little strands of Bahia grass or whatever it's called, the little really stemmy stuff. It just, if you're cutting too high up, it doesn't touch it. It's really kind of frustrating to get a mower, and once you start doing your paces with it and actually using it real world, to see it not really doing what you want. It kind of sucks. But in 90% of conditions, it does leave a really nice flat finish. I'm gonna try a few different types of blades on it, and I bought a bagging system with it. So the bagging system is actually amazing, because I was using, for my bagging jobs, I was using a 36-inch quick track John Deere with the accelerator bagger, and man, I hated that thing so much. I hate the accelerator baggers. It is probably one of the worst lawn gimmicks
And you know, Accelerator is the main brand, but you look at all the others, they're built just about the same way with all these holes and stuff, and they sell the covers separately, right? So if you don't buy the covers, okay, and you're using an Accelerator bagger, you're going to be instantly, from head to toe, every crevice, okay, every part of you is going to be caked, covered in dust, and then you get sweaty, and then it's just not a good product. And for $600 or $700, the welds are trash, and they want you to buy the cover separate for another $100 or so. To me, that feels just like a money grab like none other, dude. I really would advise stay away from an accelerated bagger unless you just really don't have any other choice. They just suck. They suck so bad. And I know that they suck because now on my new mower, the Skag, I bought the 48-inch kit for bagging on it. And dude, it is phenomenal. It works better. The bags are proper mesh bags, and it's flawless. I love it so much. There's a little bit of blowout, but I don't think I've ever seen a bagging system that doesn't have blowout, especially when you start to get it full. It's almost like an indicator, right, that you're filling up or you have a clog. But overall, so far, I love my bagging system. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna drive down this windy road without the camera in my hand, and I will show you the job when we get to it.
Alright, so here we are on the job, trimming away, sorry. And look at the smoke coming out of this thing. I actually figured out exactly what causes that. The green touch racks that I have, apparently the way it sits on that rack makes the float and the carburetor stick, and so it just floods the engine with gas, which has the oil in it, which is why it's got the white smoke. So I can't use that, you can see it right behind me, that tilted green touch rack there. I can't use that because it makes all of my hedge trimmers smoke like this. I thought the thing was on its way out, but I still use it to this day. This footage is from October of 2024. I'm recording this voiceover and editing this in October of 2025. So yeah, I found this is another bit of old footage that I found. I thought I'd found it all. But like, I'm finding stuff from 2023, 2018, and I'm just like, it's not bad, you know. It's the same thing I would do now, so why not just use it, right? And honestly, some of it's the same jobs. So here it is. And yeah, these hedges, you know, I wish I could do them more often, but here's the issue with jobs like this. They're expensive, you know. They're expensive. And so you got to look at a job like this, okay? And I think when I was doing this before, just to do the hedges is $700, okay? And if you do a hard cut back on it, which these really need, you know, you get into the, you know, $9,000 to $1,000, right? It's expensive. Every time you do the pine straw, and you can see it here, you know, it's like another $1,200. And you'll see it at the end, how much this compresses over time, because it's like these bigger jobs, they look nice, they're great, but they're expensive, you know? And so as much as I want things to look perfect and pristine, it's freaking expensive. You know? So I don't know, part of me has always kind of thought like, I mean, I can just do these jobs as they come up and just be fine with it. But if I could maintain it, it could just always look great, you know? And that's the thing with me. Yes, we're in business for the money and all this. Like yes, obviously. But there is more to it than that. Like, I actually genuinely enjoy the work that I do. Like, I actually love doing this stuff, and I actually love having things look pristine. I love learning how to make a plant not die. I love learning how to, reshape something in a special way so it doesn't die, right? Making things work in winter, constant color year round. Like, I actually like this stuff. And that's what kind of bothers me about the way YouTube has been over the last few years, and kind of what I want to try to do, getting back into it and re-editing these old videos, is like just providing good information and showing good examples of good work like people used to do, back in my day. Everyone now has kind of sold their souls, and they've sold their ability to be free to say whatever they want to say. You've got to say what you're paid for. But let's look at these hedges here, okay? Task at hand. You'll notice there's a lot of spots on here that are kind of bare, and I'm taking a good bit off, but I'm not taking much. I mean, you can see it laying there. I don't take a ton, but you still have those bare spots, and I'll talk about that here in a minute in the actual video. But yeah, this is one of those jobs, man. I just love doing it. This stuff looks great when it's all maintained.
At a halfway point here, and these are very, very overgrown. Getting them off the house. There's beehives all throughout. Let's see. There's like dozens and dozens of those. But I wanted to talk about why you should trim more often than not, which is this right here. So, see these bare spots? Now it's the fall time. It's October, so it's not 90 degrees. It'll be about 70 next week, and from there lower. So now's the best time to take a lot of material off, and you can see just how much these are. These will have plenty of walking room when I get done with them, so that you can get to all your electrical and all of your, all your gas mains and stuff like that. But if you were to trim this 3 times a year minimum, these would be super dense and super almost like a solid bush. But whenever you let them grow without trimming them, they get really leggy and thin. Same thing with these barberries. They don't look amazing right now because we took off most of the overgrowth, but that's why you get these leggy sort of thin sections. See how that, get these little bare spots in there. Now they all should look a little bit closer to these, but even these were a little overgrown. But you can see maybe how dense that is. It's just a big difference. For whatever reason, these did not go crazy on this side of the house, but that's why you want to trim more often than not.
All right, so these hedges, if you remember, I said I'm sitting here now in 2025. I believe these hedges, I planted them in, that was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, I want to say. And look at them, they're great. These were just little $12 shrubs from Home Depot, I want to say. And they've turned out phenomenal. They had 1 year of some kind of weird issue. I thought it was blight, but here they are. They're fine. And now, mind you, this video is from 2024, so it is what it is. But this is the kind of stuff I look at and I think, like, what if I could fertilize it? What if I could go through and selective prune and do prevention for fungus and bugs, and how crazy would it look today if I'd been doing that kind of stuff for 9 years? What if, right? There's always that what if kind of thing, but that's not stuff that I get to choose, right? It's all, again, it's expensive, and you get these customers who have these big giant landscapes, and you can only do so much, because this could be very easily $5,000, $6,000 a year property if it was that important. It kind of depends on the person, right? Doing it once a year is perfectly fine for something like this. It's not to be like shaming or anything like that, but it's just I'm kind of just thinking of the what ifs, right? Like, what if we could do it that way? And this thing could look just insane, but we don't always get our way, and we don't always get to do the thing that we're so excited to do, right? Just something to think about moving forward.
There we go. All finished. All the way around. Here. There's the back. Got the ladder. Need that. Alright, we're back at this job. Finished the pine straw and the hedges a few days ago. She mentioned these old crepe myrtles are not doing so well. I think part of it is because they were a little bit small when they started out, and they're just taking a little too long, because this is a tree variety of crepe myrtle, but for whatever reason it's not going beyond that tall phase. But what we're doing is replacing them with these big old tall ones. Quite a bit more expensive, but these taller, more mature trees should be more aggressive with their roots and all this. So you can see I've got the hole started here. But what I'm actually going to do is widen this hole a little bit more, because I want to add in a bunch of additional soil amendments and good stuff, because this clay stuff is very hard. So let's widen this hole. Good. clay soils, you kind of want it to be amended. You want your hole to be a lot bigger so that everything around it for a few inches is soft. That way it'll have a real easy time rooting. And of course, that's why we mix in all this other good stuff. It's like compost, peat moss, like a potting mix of some sort of soil, just bare soil. And then once it's planted, you just water the heck out of it. But one trick too to remember is fill the bottom of it. A lot of people do the sides and then just drop it, but fill the bottom a little bit too. And you kind of want it to be mounded whenever you're in clay soils, because what'll happen is a lot of water will sit at the bottom of this hole because clay is so hard that the water can't penetrate. It's like a cup. So if it does rain too much or you're overwatering, you'll have like a little pool of water for an extended period of time, which can hurt the tree. But as it develops and roots and starts to spread, it'll actually just suck up the water a lot easier. But yeah, the trick here is to mound it so that the root kind of sits above that little collection of water at the bottom, and also the water can run off whenever you mound it, which you'll see me do that in just a second. Come in with a rake and clean up a little bit here, but you basically want to be able to really give it a tug and not see bulging like I am trying to pull. So I'll pack a little bit more over here, but basically you just want to pull it and just not see any budge. Look how rocky this is. Most of what I'm hitting here is just pure rock. You know, I'm always so jealous on YouTube. Everyone comes in here, it's not focusing, and just digs, you know, and it's like the shovel just goes in and it's like there's hardly anything there, but this is what we deal with, okay? It's so frustrating to have to dig through this rock all the time, but you get used to it. And that's why I have to do all these soil amendments when I put in a tree. It just, it won't live if it's digging through that, you know. You gotta really break things up to give it a chance. Go. Hole is dug. Some more than wide enough. Now we backfill. Alright, there we go. 2 crepe myrtles planted. They are solid as rock. Now if you're ever planting new plants, of course, the rule of thumb is make sure they're watered and don't do any trimming for the first couple years. So you got to be prepared for them to get a little unruly if they are successful, because it's just going to get the plant the best chance. Okay, and with the crepe myrtles, don't top them. Okay, let a tree be a tree. You wouldn't top one of these or one of those. You wouldn't top the Leland cypress. You wouldn't top those. Crepe myrtle's the same thing. It's a tree. Let the tree be a tree. Okay. Alright, and now we'll head on to plant some weeping willows. Look how tall these are. My trailer's 12 foot, and this thing overhangs my trailer by, God, I'd probably say 4 or 5 foot easy. But weeping willow time.
Alright, so there is another one down of this old footage that I found. If you enjoyed it, got anything out of it, go ahead and subscribe and comment the word crepe myrtle. Let's have a little participation. If you got this far and you saw that portion, let's confuse the people who didn't make it that far, right? Thanks.